What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. So I've said on the YouTube channel that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is, without question in my mind, the best Assassin's Creed game in years and was a great step in the right direction for Ubisoft and where they were trying to take the series. That being said, guys, we have what looks to be the biggest DLC that Ubisoft's ever put out for an Assassin's Creed title, and this is something that's got me very excited. There are concerns I have about it, which we are going to get to here shortly, but I want to talk about this because this is going to be massive, I think, for the Assassin's Creed community as a whole, and what the future, of course, could look like here with Valhalla moving forward. So let's get into it. And an article, guys, coming to us from Clayton Sterling, sire of Game Rant. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's upcoming Dawn of Ragnarok DLC adds over 35 hours of new content, and Ubisoft explains why it isn't its own game. So Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Valhalla back in November of 2020, and the developer continues to add new content to the already extensive game. With how large the Dawn of Ragnarok expansion is going to be when it releases in March, Ubisoft has explained why it needed to be part of Valhalla rather than a new game. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla's main story unfolds over the course of dozens of hours, but Dawn of Ragnarok is set to add another 35 hours or so to the adventure. The already released Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansions, Wrath of the Druids and The Siege of Paris, focus primarily on Eivor and the Viking storyline, but the upcoming expansion focuses on Havi. Havi is also known as Odin in Norse mythology and is an ancestor of Eivor in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So before we get into that, let's talk about the playing time here that you're going to get with Assassin's Creed's Valhalla Dawn of Ragnarok. So when you hear the number 35 hours, that's pretty awesome, right, guys? I mean, you think in your mind, 35 hours, this is great. Now, what you got to take into consideration, though, is that that's also going to be, of course, like side quests and like, when you go off to find, whether it's like different, side stories and side quests and such, it's going to be all of that combined, right? It's going to be certainly a lot of hours that you can put into it. I would say, though, Dawn of Ragnarok, if you were to kind of skip through like the different side stories and side missions and such, it's probably going to be more something around maybe 20 hours, not so much 35. 35 would be like the total amount that you could probably put into it. But nonetheless, that's still, thinking of it from the standpoint of a main storyline, 20 hours of new content is pretty awesome. So because the Dawn of Ragnarok expansion adds another 35 plus hours to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the expansion could have easily been a sequel to the game. Ubisoft has confirmed to GameSpot that the primary reason that this is an expansion rather than its own game is that Ubisoft wanted to put more focus on the Norse mythology of Assassin's Creed Valhalla due to how much the other expansions delved into Viking history. According to Assassin's Creed Valhalla producer Jose Areza, this expansion felt like the most cohesive way to extend the story of Valhalla. So what this tells me, though, guys, is that Ubisoft has no plans, most likely, to continue Assassin's Creed in the direction of where they took Valhalla. It tells me that they're maybe going to go into a different time period, or they're going to kind of set the next game, the next main entry in Assassin's Creed, in a different direction. They're not planning on continuing it right after Valhalla. They're going to go into a different time period, and that's why that this expansion is more specific to Valhalla, because it's going to be a part of that, what they kind of started there, and obviously kind of adding to it. They really are putting a lot of resource into Valhalla and into Dawn of Ragnarok in particular. I mean, this is a massive expansion, guys. When you're talking, even when you talk about 35 plus hours, that's a lot for a DLC, and gotta tell you, that's pretty awesome. That being said, though, the price tag certainly shows this, that they are, I mean, it's pretty close to its own game when you look at the price. Ubisoft didn't only confirm that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be receiving the large Dawn of Ragnarok expansion, but it confirmed confirmed more content for Assassin's Creed Odyssey recently as well. This new Assassin's Creed Odyssey content brings a new crossover narrative chapter to Odyssey that introduced fans of the older Assassin's Creed's title to characters from the latest installment. Although Assassin's Creed Valhalla already offers numerous references to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins, the newest adventure was also updated to offer more crossover content with Odyssey. So, for those of you who like Odyssey and Origins, this is great news for you because they're creating more content for that. I will, and I've stated this, that the dark ages of Assassin's Creed to me really started with, obviously Odyssey continued with Origins, and it kind of, it felt like those dark years that happened in Call of Duty when they went and they kind of changed the way that Call of Duty was made, so to speak, like from a gameplay perspective. They introduced jetpacks in Advanced Warfare, and that continued with Black Ops 3 to Infinite Warfare. And that was the real dark ages of Call of Duty, in my opinion. Now, all it took, though, was after those 3 games in Call of Duty, it took one game to bring you back into the right direction in the form of Call of Duty World War II, back to a boots-on-the-ground type of feel. With Assassin's Creed, I kind of felt this same thing because we got Odyssey and Origins. Felt like just really the dark ages of Assassin's Creed, in my opinion. And then obviously Valhalla comes out and we're right back into a really positive place. I think it's one of the best Assassin's Creed in a very long time. So Ubisoft really showed this, that you can have a couple of, titles that don't, were kind of something that a lot of people didn't really like, and you were able to create a game that many people universally feels like a lot of people really enjoy Valhalla. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like it, but at the end of the day, I think that this has been a widely accepted Assassin's Creed title, to say the least. With that being said, guys, with the first year of Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansions focused so heavily on Eivor and the Viking history, Dawn of Ragnarok may be the first of multiple DLC experiences that centers on Havi. The addition of Valhalla content to Assassin's Creed Odyssey may increase how many AC fans delve into the various realms of Valhalla, while the new Odyssey crossover story in Valhalla may have the same effect for the older title. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Dawn of Ragnarok releases in March, but the crossover content has already been added to Valhalla and Odyssey. So let's talk about this, guys. First of all, Dawn of Ragnarok, I'm very excited for. We saw the reveal trailer. That was incredible. I thought it looks awesome, guys. I can't wait to play this DLC experience. I think it's really when we think about DLC, and so many games that come out that have DLC, this is the first one that's felt like in a long time I've really wanted to purchase the DLC. It just feels different. It does kind of feel like its own game, even though it's a part of Valhalla. That being said, though, this is a $40 price tag, and I told you guys earlier that there were certain concerns I had about this. One, I think it would have been awesome to have a direct continuation from Valhalla, so the next Assassin's Creed continuation. In the main storyline, I would have loved to be a continuation, and that being like Assassin's Creed Dawn of Ragnarok. I thought that would be a really cool way that they could have continued it. Obviously, though, they had different plans. They wanted this just to be a DLC in the form of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And so Dawn of Ragnarok, I'm very excited about as a DLC. I'm concerned, though, that it not being its own game and being a DLC, I think a lot of people may not actually purchase it. Especially when we look at how many hours there are, I think a lot of diehard Assassin's Creed fans are going to get this DLC. But for $40, that's a pretty steep price tag when you consider what they are including. Now, obviously, guys, they are including a lot of content. Does it justify it? It depends on, really, at the end of the day, if you have 20 hours of content for $40, okay? In my mind, I'm thinking it still is tough to justify that for 20 hours. I know that we say 35, but if you say 20 hours of solid content where it's not side stories, side missions, things of that nature, and you're talking, 20 hours, that's pretty good, but I would love to see more in this type of DLC. I mean, man, dude, if they were adding like multiplayer modes, co-op modes, things of that nature, as well as, 35 hours of bonus content here in the form of this DLC, man, that feels like it would really justify a $40 price tag. So It's hard to say, guys. I mean, we're gonna have to wait to get our hands on it to really feel was this worth $40? And that's where I'm a little bit concerned. Is this gonna keep people from buying the DLC because it's $40, and you get 35 hours of content, which is awesome, but is it worth it? And that's where I think a lot of this it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Nonetheless, so guys, I'm very excited for Dawn of Ragnarok. I'm going to be one of the first, of course, to be playing it. I'll be downloading it immediately when it comes out in March. What do you guys think, though? Are you going to get Assassin's Creed Valhalla's DLC Dawn of Ragnarok? Or are you going to kind of wait until other people play it? Or is it something that you're going to skip out on? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Assassin's Creed Valhalla content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Dying Light 2 is a game that we've been really anticipated to play, excited about for a while, but it's felt like something that has been maybe in a development hell or in a limbo state at this point in time. But finally, we're getting more and more news as we're getting closer to the release date. It's starting to feel real, guys, because we got an official release date and more content that we were able to see and got very, very excited about. And so I want to break all that down for you guys here in this segment of the show. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, in an article written to us by Alex Avard, Sam Loveridge, and Heather Wald of Games Radar, Dying Light 2 gets an official release date. So we're only a few short months away from the new Dying Light 2 Stay Human release date, which means it's time once again to get excited about the parkour running, melee smashing, infected beating open world title. So the first thing, guys, is the release date. Let's talk about it. The Dying Light 2 release date has been delayed once again, with the game shifting to February 4th, 2022. This is another delay for the game, with the title moving from the most recent December 7th, 2021 date, and developer Techland originally delaying the game indefinitely from its previous spring 2020 window. And that was the second delay for the game, as it was initially penciled in for a 2019 release. So look, once this game started getting delayed indefinitely, I was getting concerned about it. Obviously, I've been excited about Dying Light 2. The first one I thought was, I thought it was a pretty awesome concept, so on and so forth. And I was excited to see kind of where they would take that here in the form of Dying Light 2. And obviously when they start delaying it, guys, you start thinking the worst case scenarios. You start thinking, wow, is this in a development hell cycle? Are there issues from the development perspective where there's creative differences? What's going on over at Techland with this title? Because, obviously there's been a lot of hype around Dying Light 2. A lot of people are excited for this title. And when you start talking about, delaying a game indefinitely, it really concerns me, because I'll tell you, one of the things I feel like we have to get better at as an industry when it comes to gaming, I feel like if a game's going to get delayed, they should delay it, but not give us hope or false hope on another, release date. I mean, we're talking 2019 was when the initial release was, then spring of 2020, then December of 2021, and now to February of 2022. I'm not going to hold my breath that we're going to be sticking with February of 2022. I'm definitely hoping. I think we're definitely closer than far away to the release. But I just really want, if you're going to delay a game, don't give us a release date till it is a firm date. That being said, though, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we stick with this date of February 4th, 2022, because I really want to play it, guys. Now, at the end of the day, if it's not ready to be released, if there's going to be a bunch of bugs, glitches, things of that nature, just wait until the game's ready. Dying Light 2, it takes place 15 years after the first game. Set 15 years after the zombie apocalypse hit, the old civilization has fallen. Fighting for resources and punishing the weak, the world you explore is a harsh and brutal place. In Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the civilization is said to have fallen back to the Dark Ages, which was reflected in the city setting, with an open world to explore the blends modern urban buildings with medieval architecture. You'll have the opportunity to make use of your parkour abilities, along with a grappling hook and paraglider to make your way around, which I'm really excited about for sure. The Dying Light 2 gameplay, guys, is really something cool. Alongside the news of an official release date window, Techland also revealed the new title for the upcoming survival horror, now calling Dying Light 2 Stay Human. The developer gave us a fresh look at some gameplay. in the latest trailer, as well as detailing some of the action we can expect to see in a recent PlayStation blog post. If you guys haven't seen the gameplay they showed off, I would definitely check it out. Survivors, Peacekeepers, and Renegades are the three different factions in the city who struggle to hold a position in the world, and each faction has its own motivations and approaches. The Survivors work to establish safe zones and try to adapt to any situation. Peacekeepers, on the other hand, are described as loyal soldiers who want to impose their version of law and order and trample all in their path. Lastly, the Renegades are made up of ex-prisoners who serve a ruthless colonel and seek to rule the city. Who you help or hinder is up to you, but your actions will affect the world and its inhabitants, which I think is a really cool concept as well. So, there was a lot of concept art, guys, and some exclusive Dying Light 2 concept art. Gives you a first proper look at the new zombies, and the new zombies look really awesome too. I mean, not only does the gameplay look great, guys, but the different creatures, the heroes, all of that, guys, that you see within this game, I mean, it just looks really, really cool, without question. So, one of the things that, it was tough for me to really, not so much grasp, but, I guess you could kind of take it from the perspective of they wanted to make this more of an RPG type of style. And I don't really know how I feel about that. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. But one of the most surprising things about Dying Light 2's reveal was the announcement that Chris Avellone, a famed games writer known for his work on multitudes of RPGs from Divinity Original Sin 2 to Fallout New Vegas, has been assisting Techland with designing the game's story, which is now far more ambitious than Kyle Crane's linear tale in Dying Light. So, in a recent interview with our sister publication, Official Xbox Magazine, leader designer on Dying Light 2, Timon Smetala, explained how Dying Light 2 reacts to your good and bad decisions and the fact the game allows you certain ways to fix a costly mistake. I think the biggest thing will be the ability to change the world around you. The moment when you make a decision or you perform some action in the game and you see that the world has changed, you see what kind of power we give you from the actions to the decisions you make. So what's kind of cool about this concept, guys, is, this may really force multiple playthroughs, and that's something that's really cool. On the flip side of that, sometimes a lot of gamers like to have a very linear experience. So no matter what happens at the end of the story, it all eyes, are kind of set towards one, particular ending or another. And look, it's just different types of styles. And I think it's an interesting concept. I'm really hoping it lands well with a lot of the fan base. So the map size, guys, the Dying Light 2 size will be 4 times bigger than the previous game, according to Techland in a recent interview with WCCF Tech. And I think this is really cool. I'm excited to see a larger map, guys. I think that's going to create a lot more of those elements of exploration and things of that nature. So I think that's going to be awesome as well. So Dying Light 2 has more to do than just infected and parkouring. The world of Dying Light 2 will be filled with abandoned structures, which aren't just good for combat and parkour challenges, as they can also be highly functional. Some of them, with your help, can become bakeries, pumpkin farms, schools, and other home building elements. And I'm really interested to see kind of this concept and what this all looks like. You can restore training grounds, for example, which may give you the option to test exotic weapons or take part in bizarre combat trails that let you use your skills in crazy and extreme situations. So let's talk big picture here. Number one, guys, I'm very excited about Dying Light 2. I was really excited years ago, and I'm just as excited now, especially after seeing the new gameplay that came out. I'm concerned in a couple of areas. Number one is obviously that it's, they're kind of taking RPG elements. Not that that's a bad thing, but when you start to go away from what made you special in the first run, first go around with Dying Light, and you're kind of changing things this early, that concerns me a little bit. It could be amazing, guys, but we just have to kind of be, I'm going to be a little bit cautious until we get the actual game. The second thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, even though I'm excited that we're getting a February 4th, 2022 release date, at the same time, you got to take that with a pinch of salt because they've delayed it already multiple times. Could they delay it again? I think it's a possibility. Now, we're closer than we are far away from the title. So fingers crossed it stays. But outside of those couple of concerns, guys, I am incredibly excited about this title. I think it's going to be awesome when we finally get our hands on it. As long as it's fully polished and things of that nature, I think it's going to be incredible. But let me know, guys. The real question is, what do you all think about Dying Light 2 at this point in time? The things that we know, are you excited about it? Are you concerned about it? Let me know. And for more Dying Light 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. A game that really captured my attention at the Game Awards was a game none other than Metal Hellsinger, guys. This is a game that is very unique and different, and I think that's what really it captivated me. It's not a game that really was on my radar at all. I don't think it was on a lot of people's radar, but it's very intriguing in a number of ways, and so I want to definitely talk about this in this segment of the show. Everything that we know so far about this title, we can break it down, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Ryan Moose of Screen Rant, the full list of contributing musicians for Metal Hellsinger soundtrack has been revealed during the Game Awards alongside new gameplay footage. So guys, full disclosure, this is the first time, the Game Awards was the first time I even heard about this game and even knew that this was even a game that was even being developed. In a new announcement during the Game Awards, rhythm shooter Metal Hellsinger has revealed the complete list of heavy metal musicians contributing to the game's blood-pumping score. First revealed during 2020 Summer of Gaming event, Hellsinger combines the frantic first-person gameplay of Doom Eternal and its new Horde Mode DLC with the rhythm-based action of titles like Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's not only the gameplay that's reminiscent of Doom, as the game's soundtrack features numerous heavy metal tracks from several notable artists in the genre. So one of the first things I thought of with Metal Hellsinger was it looked kind of like Doom. And so when I was watching the gameplay and all of that, I'm like, wow, is this in the same universe as Doom? That would be something really interesting. It doesn't seem like it is, guys, but nonetheless, it definitely seems like it's taken some things from the Doom franchise. So heavy metal star Matt Heafy from famed band Trivium has presented the list of artists featured in the new rhythm title during the Game Awards. So guys, there is a long list of different, heavy metal, artists and things of that nature, which I think is going to be, which really makes it something special. I mean, this is very different, guys, and but I love it. I love these types of, rhythm-based shooters. It's really different, but there's just like the concept of it really is fascinating to me. The world of rhythm games is not as large and streamlined as those of other notable game genres, so any new title feels like another innovation on the formula. I 100% agree with that. While best known for the tap-to-the-beat classics such as Dance Dance Revolution and PaRappa the Rapper, developers are constantly pushing the boundaries for what's possible in the genre. Disney's Fantasia brought Kinect tracking and live remixing to the classic formula. Crypt of the Necrodancer turned the formula on its head with a completely new dungeon crawling style. Even Peloton has its own rhythm game, Lane Break, in the works. And now the industry has started combining rhythm with every other genre, such as this example with first-person shooters. Whether you're in it for the gameplay, the heavy metal, or both, Metal Hellsinger looks to be a promising genre mashup for 2022's gaming lineup. Now, that being said, guys, we don't know an exact release date at this point in time. 2022 is when it's supposed to be coming out, which is awesome. Obviously, you got to take that with a pinch of salt. We're seeing in the gaming landscape, so many games get pushed back or delayed in a major way. And so I'm hoping Metal Hellsinger, we get our hands on this in 2022, but I'm not going to hold my breath until we get an official release date. But that being said, look, guys, this is a title that is obviously very interesting to me. Being a first-person shooter, being something that looks kind of Doom-esque, looks like you're obviously, in the depths of hell. Being a rhythm-based shooter, it's very interesting. It's like you're going to be able to create different combos and things of that nature based on, different metal songs. And look, I love the concept, and I think it's going to really create some really interesting elements. A lot of people, I think this is going to be a great game for content, especially content creators out there, whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube. I think this is going to be a title that will be really good for that. to create, different songs or different, rhythms. I just think it's going to be awesome, or montages, I should say, as well. This is a title, guys, that I'm going to be giving you more information as it comes out. But from what we saw, the game footage that we saw at the Game Awards, it's got my attention for sure. And I'm very intrigued to see where this, as we get closer and closer to the release date, as more content comes out, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to speed. Let me know though, what do you guys think about Metal Hellsinger? I'd love to have a real conversation with you guys in the comment section down below about it. And for more Metal Hellsinger content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. So I'm a big fan, guys, of the Far Cry series. I've absolutely loved it. Ever since really, we could talk about Far Cry 3 is really what got me into Far Cry in a major way. 4, I thought, was a pretty good continuation. 5 was my favorite, really, all time. I absolutely loved Far Cry 5. And Far Cry 6, guys, look, at the end of the day, when I look at like the comparison, the tiers, Far Cry 5 and 6 are very close. And, I've got to play Far Cry 6 one more time just to kind of give you a full, that full disclosure, whether I think it's actually better than 5 or slightly under that. I know a lot of people thought that the third one was the best, but I thought that 5 overtook 3 in my opinion, and even 6 has overtaken 3 as well. And so, that being said, one of the biggest criticisms I've had of the Far Cry series is the lack of multiplayer. And look, there are multiplayer modes, right? We can talk about multiplayer in Far Cry 5. We can talk that there's multiplayer technically in Far Cry 6 as well. But in Far Cry 6, the multiplayer is just playing it cooperatively, that being, playing the campaign from a co-op perspective. And for me, guys, even though this is awesome, and I think that this is great for the game to have it where you can play with your friends and go take down Anton Castillo and, be the savior, right? I still feel, though, that there needs to be PvP modes. This is a first-person shooter that is, I believe, one of the best out there. When we talk about first-person shooter titles out there, you think of Call of Duty, you think of Battlefield, you think of, obviously, Valorant, CSGO, a lot of these different titles. Far Cry, in my mind, from a gameplay perspective, is up there with those titles. If they were to create a PvP style where, obviously, you're going up against other people across in the world, right? I think it would open up, just so much potential for people when it comes to, and just so much opportunity to not only replayability, having people come back to the game over and over again to play with their friends or to play against other people. It just would create, I just think, an even better culture than what Far Cry already has. Because when we think about Call of Duty, you think about a title that is the #1 best-selling game every single year that it comes out. There are millions upon millions of people that play it just for the multiplayer experiences. And every year you see how it gets bigger and bigger. Number 2, you see the esports scene is growing year over year as well. The Call of Duty League is growing in a major way. Far Cry, in my mind, could totally be that. It could be something where you not only have it being PvP, but then go even further than that. Go to the esports realm. Go to a very competitive style there. I think Far Cry is right there. It's on the cusp. It could be that next big first-person shooter title that not only you could play from a, just a casual experience playing against other people or playing with your friends, but you could play it from a competitive perspective as well. And that's something that I think that Ubisoft is not there when it comes to their titles that they bring out. They bring out certain multiplayer experiences. They try to make it a little bit different, and I really respect them for that. We look at games like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. They tried some different things when it came to the multiplayer experiences, and I thought it was really interesting. But Far Cry, they've got this title that has so much potential to be not only an incredible single-player experience, which it already is, but it could also have incredible co-op modes, which they're adding, of course. But having a real multiplayer experience where would bring you back to the title over and over again. Because I'll tell you this, guys, after I'm done beating Far Cry 6 a second time, that being the story, I'm going to move on to other games because there's not a true multiplayer experience with, Far Cry 6 for bring me back to the experience over and over again, to play with my friends, but playing up against other people, creating a team of people to compete against other people. You don't have that. And so you're going to just move on to other games or move on to games that do have that. And so that's why I feel, even though Far Cry 6, Far Cry 5 are absolutely incredible titles, and Ubisoft, I believe, is taking, they're kind of raising the bar each game. I think that they're not raising it in a way where you're in a multiplayer perspective. And I know a lot of people don't feel like you have to have multiplayer experiences. I just have always said that having a full package, that being a single player story, co-op modes, and multiplayer modes, it justifies the $60 price tag, and then it brings you back to the experience over and over again. After you beat the single player story, you can play with your friends. When you don't want to play with your friends, you want to play by yourself and you want to play in a multiplayer competitive environment, you can do that as well. Or if you just want to play from a casual perspective, you can do that. Play against other people, play against waves and waves of enemies in a PvP setting or a PvE setting. Those are all ways that you can connect with these franchises. And I think that's really important, guys, when we look at the entire ecosystem that is gaming. I just truly believe that you need to have multiple ways that you can really just kind of dive into a title in this landscape, especially when you have so many games out there now that are free to play, and that have these awesome multiplayer experiences. Far Cry, I believe, could be such a great multiplayer experience. I mean, just all the different ways that they could, and Ubisoft is very creative. They could come up with all kinds of different game modes that you've never even heard of before, but that's just the power of gaming, guys. They could create so many amazing different game modes, and it could be something so special at the end of the day, but they have not done that at this point in time. It's up to us, though, as the community, to voice our opinion to the developers, saying, hey, look, your game is awesome, but we really want to also have multiplayer experiences that we can play with our friends, not so much just in a campaign perspective, but from a competitive perspective. From a casual perspective, playing against other people across the world, creating those servers that you can play against other people would be so huge. And who knows where it could go, guys? It could go into the esports realm. The game becomes nationally televised. I mean, it's something that could be absolutely incredible over the course of time, but it just starts with creating the foundations of multiplayer experiences. And that's my real hope here with Far Cry moving forward. But let me know, guys, do you think that multiplayer should be a bigger emphasis of this in the Far Cry universe? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more Far Cry 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Another title that's getting a new expansion is Destiny 2. And guys, I gotta tell you, even though I've been very critical of Destiny at times, and I feel like it's kind of been really hit or miss, the Witch Queen, which of course is the upcoming expansion that's coming to Destiny 2, I'm pretty excited about. And we're going to talk about it here in this segment of the show. We're going to break it down, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from Will Sawyer from Games Radar, the Destiny 2 expansion pits Guardians against the Witch Queen and her Hive Guardian army. Right off the bat, guys, that just, it gets me sold, right? I get really excited when I start hearing that. I get like the thoughts of like StarCraft 2 in the back of my mind when you start talking like that, and so it gets me pretty excited. Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. The next major expansion for Destiny 2 from Bungie is less than 2 months away. Guardians will have to journey to the throne world of the cunning hive goddess Savathun and put an end to her army newly empowered hive lightbearers, with abilities matching our own in the Destiny 2 The Witch Queen campaign. The expansion will also add a new raid set on board a pyramid ship, even more weapons, including the new Glaive special weapon type, and a new weapon crafting system. With Season 16 arriving at the same time, Guardians will also get stasis-like aspects and fragments for their Void subclasses in the first of the long-awaited revamps for the existing Light subclasses. Not much else has been revealed since the initial showcase back in August, but let's have a look at everything that we know. So, Savathun's throne world is the new Destiny 2 The Witch Queen destination in the campaign. With the new Destiny 2 expansion comes a new destination to explore. This time, the Witch Queen isn't adding a place in our solar system, but is instead bringing in Savathun's throne world. For anyone that doesn't know, throne worlds are small universes created by powerful hive gods that prevent them from ever truly dying in the normal material universe. However, if they die in their throne world, that means game over forever. So it's a very interesting concept. Here's what I'm going to say, guys, really quick. Full disclosure about Destiny 2. It released and it had some issues, right? Obviously, a multitude of issues from the very beginning. Bungie had to kind of go through this. And of course, they listened to a lot of the things that the community was saying. And they kept on releasing expansions and they're still doing it to this day, which I think it's a really valiant effort. My biggest criticism, though, is I felt that Destiny really needed to create another title, obviously kind of get that sour taste out of everyone's mouth of what Destiny 2 was and kind of create a new game. And I feel like this actually would have been a great place to start, in my opinion, to kind of build off of, kind of some of the momentum that they had built with Destiny 2, create Destiny 3 and call it like the Witch Queen, or just call it Destiny 3 and this maybe is the first expansion, or this is the story that's being told in Destiny 3. That would be my thought. I just feel like they need to move in a direction of getting out of the shadow that was Destiny 2. And I know that Bungie has stated that they really felt good about Destiny 2. They wanted to support it and things of that nature. And I think it's a very valiant effort. I just really wanted them to continue to kind of round out the trilogy and kind of move on from Destiny 2, because they've come out with a lot of expansions. There's just a lot of things. So to kind of, a lot of it gets convoluted and confusing at times if you haven't played all of the expansions and such. And that's why I felt like it was time for them to move on to a new title, that being in the form of Destiny 3. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about that, though, in the comment section down below. In Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, you'll be facing off against Savathun's lucent brood of hive lightbearers. Presumably, we'll learn about how exactly Savathun steals the power of light by the end of season of The Lost. But for now, we know she's used to it to create hive ghosts that can resurrect and empower dead hive with powers similar to the Guardians. So details on the new raid coming to Destiny 2 with the Witch Queen are of course very sparse at the moment. What we do know is that it will take place within the Darkness pyramid ship that lives in the swamps of Savathun's throne world. A brief description of the raid hints at an ancient danger and prison within the pyramid, which we'll likely have to put an end to and get some sweet loot out of it. So the Witch Queen will add glaives and a new weapon crafting system to Destiny 2, which I'm excited about. But this is just another reason why I feel like they should have done this in the form of Destiny 3, kind of a fresh start, so to speak, where they would have had new crafting and things of that nature. But I digress. Weapons in Destiny 2 The Witch Queen are getting some major new additions with this expansion. Not only is there going to be an entirely new weapon type, the glaive, but new weapons will be craftable so that you can get your ideal role more easily. Glaives are a new type of melee-based energy weapon. They're Destiny 2's first ever first-person melee weapon, but they can also fire off ranged projectiles and deploy shields. So pretty awesome. I'm excited about the glaive and utilizing that without question. How glaives and the new weapon crafting system come into Destiny 2 is a mystery for now, but based on Bungie's description, it seems like that pyramid ship relic orb from Shadowkeep has something to do with it. The Witch Queen will introduce this new weapon crafting system to Destiny 2, but it will be expanded on with new weapons and even some old ones over time. So really interesting concepts here, guys. They're adding some things that they never have before, and I like that. But like I said, it just felt to me that a lot of these things that they should have just utilized into a new game altogether. Give you that fresh start, right? That's just how I feel about it. And I know that there is a loyal fan base to Destiny 2, and there's no doubt about it. I just feel, though, that with all the expansions, all the seasons later, if you haven't been following very closely, a lot of this just gets a little bit confusing. So The Witch Queen is bringing a Stasis-style Void class revamp. So, Destiny 2 Beyond Light saw the introduction of the first Darkness subclass in Destiny history, Stasis. It uses an entirely new subclass customization system involving aspect and fragments that is widely different to the fixed paths of the Light subclass, and Bungie is beginning to update the old Light subclass with the launch of the Witch Queen, starting with Void. So this decision by Bungie does mean that another Darkness subclass was skipped in favor of updating what is already in Destiny 2. Solar and Arc will see a revamp with aspects and fragments in future seasons in 2022. So really, Bungie is just really honed down on Destiny 2. They want to fully focus on that. And like I said, guys, I do respect that. And so they're really focused on that even through 2022. Do they have a team that's working on Destiny 3? That is something that's really interesting, and I'm definitely going to be giving you guys more information about Destiny 3 as we go along, 2022. So for more Destiny content, guys, definitely stay here with Zero TV. But the new Destiny 2 endgame activities are coming beyond the Witch Queen. So beyond the Witch Queen, Bungie has confirmed that new PvE raid or dungeon activities will be coming to Destiny 2 with every season. Season 16 will launch with the Witch Queen and its new raid, and we will be treated to 2 new dungeons and another reprise version of a classic Destiny 2 raid throughout 2022. While we know that the reprise raid will be free for all players, we recently learned that the 2 dungeons will be premium add-ons on top of the season passes. Destiny 2 players will need to buy the dungeons separately whenever they become available if they want to play them. So, obviously, guys, that's kind of, if you want to play them, you can. I feel like some of this content should certainly be free to play for all players. If just, especially if you're buying some of the DLC and such, I feel like some of these things should be not sold separately. They should just be free for all players, because I do think it splits the community. It was also revealed that weekly raid and dungeon rotations will be added to Destiny 2 at some point in 2022. These rotations will give players new ways to earn rewards in both old and new PvE endgame activities every week. Season of the Lost is lasting for about half a year, so the road to the Witch Queen is going to be a long one. The official reveal gave a tease at some of the biggest things to come, but undoubtedly there will be more information to come before the expansion launches. So let's talk about the Witch Queen. For me, guys, I'm very excited about it. I really am. I think it looks great. It does look like, from the reveal trailers and things of that nature, it looks awesome, and I'm excited about it. Certainly have my concerns, but that's really how it is with any game, right? You have your excitements, and then you have your concerns about it as well. And there are definitely concerns I have for the Witch Queen, that coming in the form of Destiny 2's new expansion. But I do think that what this is all going to encompass, we're going to have to kind of wait and see. Bungie seems to be keeping certain things under wraps, and I'll be sure to give you guys more information as it comes out, as well as the hopes of a Destiny 3 at some point or another. Hopefully, maybe the Witch Queen is the last of the expansions for Destiny 2 and we move into Destiny 3. I would love to hear your thoughts, though. In the comment section down below, guys, do you guys want a Destiny 3? Or is the community more so wanting just to stick with Destiny 2, keep giving us expansions that, you pay for separately and kind of go at it at your own pace? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Destiny 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.